Ah! Forgot to set that. Back in a sec. That's better. Yeah, sometimes I have to reset it because I got water and I want to unplug it and clean up the water. I don't want to get electrocuted by a radioactive device. Oh. Explode and mutate at the same time. Okay, so where am I here? We got the phone situation determined. We've got the MP3 player. Where'd it go? Where are you, little guy? Yeah, here. Got the MP3 player determined. That thing is determined, except I need a USB sound card with it. That computer is determined there. And so we're working on what am I going to do with that thing. And I was initially considering moving it in here, and it's not a KVR, but it's a video switch, right? Like I say, I've already got one of them is for the DVD out, second one is for the TV out. I was going to do a third one for the editing out, but I decided last night that if I did that, I'd have to run cables everywhere, it wouldn't make any sense. And it would be better if I just hung onto this laptop screen and, sorry, not that computer monitor, and I use that computer monitor for the new desktop and the video editing out, which means that I'll need to put a KVR in there. I do have an old KVR. Unfortunately, it's PS2. I'll have to determine whether, right, so the way this works is it's got 4 outs, right? And one of them goes to the computer, and the other 4 to go to your other, so one of them goes to the monitor, and the other 4 go to your computers. And however many computers you need, you only need 1 monitor, right? So it's computer 1, computer 2, 3, 4, and that one goes out to the monitor, and then you just push this button, and your monitor will determine this switch will determine which computer comes up on your monitor. I had it initially when I had that desktop, and the desktop is in the computer room now, because I wanted to turn that into a server, but then I decided at the last minute that I don't want to fight with Linux nerds about taking. If I put a server up, this is the way the internet actually works. We have these ideas about how the internet works, but the way that the internet actually works is that if I put that up on the internet, then some Linux nerd is going to decide that's my computer now. And so I was looking at that and seeing, like, is that? No, it's fine. Okay. I thought maybe that was disassembled for some reason. Actually, that reminds me, something I wanted to get in here were some lamps. Like years ago, I wanted to get some lamps, and then I never did. Specifically in here, on the table, I'll get a lamp on Kijiji for $5. I'm not worried about that. Okay. But I mean, it's okay. So I need to do some research and determine, because this has the old style, like for keyboard and mouse, those are PS2 cables. If you're younger than, if you're younger than 30, you might have never seen one of these before. But old computers, they use these connections instead of USB, or I guess people use wireless or even trackpads nowadays, right? You used to need to have your separate keyboards back when they weren't all one thing. Yeah. Okay. But and they use that kind of connection. I actually have, because I didn't want to waste. I know I'm such a nerd, right? In fact, I have the right cable, which is this, because I didn't want to waste my USB cables. I don't know if I can find those. I can probably find them on Amazon for a couple of dollars. If not, I'll just see if I can call around. But sure. It'd be like $1 for one of those, right? So, stop pretending like there's any ambiguity. It would definitely be okay. So then I would I guess I would need to get a keyboard for any. Well, I'm gonna need to get a keyboard for anyways. And I just kind of, that doesn't make sense though, because then I gotta put the KVR. It would have to come out, and what's this gonna go into? I don't know if it would pick it up. I guess they would have to come into through the USBs. Okay. I would need a KVR for the Switch anyways. Right. In which case, I was thinking, yeah, no, for that, because it's eternal, right? Probably, well, I'll experiment with it, and we'll see how that goes. In fact, I should probably do that before I finish my order. Okay, so we're gonna do that in here. Which means I'm gonna need to, something I've been wanting to do for, again, a long time, is I wanted to build a little shelving unit in here. Right, but I never got around to buying the wood, so it would be kind of like a 2 or 3 shelf thing here, and I would put I had a stereo system idea initially set up in here, right? When I first moved in here, I had speakers. I never used them. There was a CD player with a pair of headphones in here. And I guess it was just initially on the ground. And it was for reading, right? I can revisit that potentially if I got a desktop out here. I have a couple of speaker sets, but I can also. That's something I'd be more willing to be more tactile about, right? But the idea was to, maybe even set up the printer in here, and have that set up in that tower like that, right? So if I had a shelving unit, then I could put all the things I need here. And so you probably noticed that I leave my laptop on the bed, like all the time. Years ago, and this is what I'm trying to recreate, is I had a desk beside my bed, and I would put well, actually it wasn't a laptop, it was a desktop, and I put it on the computer when I went to sleep, right? So if I had a shelving unit here, I could put it on top of there, and I mean, I want to put like an alarm clock and a lamp and, all those kinds of little things there, right? And I just never got around to it. What I'm thinking, in fact, is that I can take that shelving unit and put it in sideways. And that's probably the best thing I can do. In fact, if I take that shelf in the bottom out, it might be a perfect, like if I take the shelf right out, it might be the perfect spot to put the tower, right? Well, I guess, right? That's now sideways for you, right? So you can see. Just trying to think if it's wide enough. It might not be wide enough, but it probably would be, right? And then I could maybe try to find a way to put a shelf in the middle, right? It's the perfect size. If I measure it, it'll come up pretty much. It's pretty much exactly the right width, pretty much exactly the right height, and it comes out to about here, right? So if I put that on the side, turn it sideways like that, then I can put the desktop in. KVR, use that as a monitor for both computers. Figure out something to do with that. Pop it on there. And then, what do I need in here? Well, I guess I'll get a table of some sort. I'm going to... What I have in that drawer is cassettes. I want to build a bookshelf here. That's something else. I've got the cash now to do it. Well, I will soon. You better send me that cash because I have no justification to be pissed off, but I'll certainly be disappointed. So I want to build a shelving unit here, put all the CDs on it. I guess I've only got a couple of records left now. And the cassette's in there too. I need a cassette deck because my cassette deck, pretty much the first thing, it probably broke in storage. Probably froze, but like the first thing I noticed when I moved in here was my cassette deck was broken. And if I just go to like IKEA, there is an IKEA in Windsor now. It's new. It's a pickup in the order store, but it's there. And just get like a little kind of more of a shelf there, or even just get something over the internet on Kijiji, and then I can put that stuff on that. And in fact, it's probably more stable that way, right? Because this shelf is a little bit rickety. It's maybe not the best solution for that, anyways. So that kind of resolves a lot of problems, actually. Instead of building a shelf in there for who knows how much, and who knows if it'll work, it's much easier to get a little table, right? It still leaves me with the problem of building bookshelves over strangely shaped walls, but like I wanted to put a shelving unit in that corner too. All this stuff, this is what I'm doing for the second half of the summer, it looks like, and that's fine. I guess that means I'm here for a while. Huh? Yeah, you better believe it too. Okay, so that's decided with that. So I guess the next thing I need to do is figure out exactly what I need to work the rest of that through. Am I going to need another RJ45? I got my those are my modems there, so I'll set that up. I have a lot of small cables. I've got, I guess there were two really big ones. One of them goes out here that will need to stay in place. The other one goes into here that will need, in fact I'll need two that go in here now. But I mean I can run them together, and that's, or actually you know what? It's probably not even, it would probably make more sense if I put that on the network. So instead of connecting directly, yeah, I can just connect to that hard drive from, yeah, okay, so I don't need to. It kind of half isolates it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, why have two separate dial-ins when they're right beside each other, and the only reason I would neither ever need to go on the internet with that machine would be to upload vlogs, right? Why not just do it so that I've got the drive in there is on an external, or it's on a, I can map it, right, to an external drive, or the desktop will read it as an external drive, and I can just double click on it and then upload it from, yeah, okay. Okay, so that makes far more sense. Okay, so I just need to experiment with that kind of thing. Besides that, I think that now that I've got that kind of figured out, I don't really think I need anything else for that one either. So what am I looking at costs? It's going to cost me about $150 to fix that one, which I'm not going to get another machine for $150, that's for sure. I think maybe the cheapest I might get one is maybe $200-300. Alright, so it's gonna have 4 gigs of RAM and a 500 gigabyte hard drive in it, with a dual core processor. That's as good as anything I'm gonna get for a couple $100. Looks like it's gonna cost me about $250 to fix that one. Well, I say fix. I'm also, it'll be about more like more like $150 to fix it, so I guess it's about the same. But I want to put an external hard drive in, and that's in the $250. Or that $250, most of that's for an external hard drive, which isn't really fixing it, right? It's just, in fact, it's something I probably wanted to do anyways. So, again, and like that's going to be, that has an i5 in it, so it's 5 cores, and it'll have a 500 gigabyte hard drive and 8 gigs of RAM. So, again, I'm not going to get that for $150, that's for sure. I'm not going to get that for $250. More like $450, $550, right? So, that's big too, right? So, I'm getting strong functionality for minimal cost. When I add the two of them together, it's still only like $400, right? And that in itself would be like I can get 2 functional laptops for the cost of the cheapest laptop you'll ever find, right? So I think that's positive. And to kind of finish up on that, again, I didn't include the cost for the USB card in there, and I shouldn't really include the cost for the external drive in there. So let's just make sure that I can make all the cables work, and I think that I've got that dealt with. I guess the next thing to do is to figure out what it is I need to do for this machine in here. I need a monitor, and if I've got all this money, I might as well buy a new hard drive. It won't come in immediately, but it'll sit. And I guess it'll be the same model that I have in there, which is a Western Digital 2 gig. So let's work that out as well. Okay, so I spent the last little bit playing around with this. This does work. So I'm on 1 here right now, it's flashing, as you can see. If I click 2, because there's nothing plugged in here, it just goes to a blank screen, and then I press 1, and it comes back up again. So what I'll do is I'll park this guy right here, and 1 will be the desktop probably, and 2 will be this guy. In fact, I have 2 open spaces in case I do want to put something else in here. If I want to connect that to it, or whatever else. I probably wouldn't want to connect that. I mean, that's got a screen on it, but I was looking at the other, these. Okay, so I was thinking to myself, how should I get around this? Should I deal with this and find some kind of an adapter, or should I get a USB KVR? I looked at it, I was like, well, how much is USB KVR? It's going to cost about $35 for USB KVR. And I can get these cords here. It's $6 plus shipping, or free shipping if I send it to Detroit. Either way, it's going to be like, actually, let me think about that. If I buy 1 of them, it'll be $6. Or and then after everything else, it'd be around maybe more like 10 or 15, right? So I pay for the packaging and everything else. If I buy 2 of them, then it'll be $30, which is the same cost as the other KVR. So whether it makes sense to buy 1 or 2 of them depends on, okay, if I buy a desktop and the desktop has PS2 outs, which it probably will, as I hope it does, I'll try to make sure I find something that does anyways. It's just, I'm going to be looking at obviously I'm not going to overpay for the PS2 outs, right? But if I can find something, I'll take it, right? Then it would make sense just to get the cable. The thing is that they're overcharging on shipping to Canada. It'll be like shipping and everything else will cost like. I might be able to find an option with slightly better shipping. Okay. But either way, it's probably still going to be cheaper. Let me double check this. Yeah, so I'm going to build my own machine, and I'll make sure it has a PS2 port. Good. Easy enough, huh? Nice and easy. Okay, so it's it'll be so. Okay, so I've been spinning out on this, sputtering out on this, but I will stick with that KVR. I will make sure that the desktop has a PS2 in, and I will get a PS2 keyboard and a PS2 mouse. I'm gonna have to buy a keyboard and mouse anyways. So that's decided upon, meaning that I'll just get one of those cords. It'll save me $20, but it's more like this thing is sturdy. I want to use that thing. So that's decided.